Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am so glad that we are here yet again for another weekly episode, another weekly offering of the Interconnected-ness, a weekly oracle series. I am TheeMemoryAstrologer, and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am so glad and so excited to be here with you all. Remember, if you really like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Remember to send a thumbs up, hit thumbs up, hit thumbs up, hit thumbs up, like this video. Remember, if you really want to share with me that you like this video, send a nice and kind comment in the comments. And if you really want to just continue seeing videos like this, want to support, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button below, okay? All right, everyone. Once again, I am TheeMemoryAstrologer, and this is the Interconnected-ness. Now, before we hop into this weekly oracle message, remember, Patreon is up and it is running. And we have new weekly videos every week, and sometimes I give astrological goodies, okay? So remember, there's a lot of goodies, a lot of insights, a lot of love being shared over at Patreon. So the Patreon link is in the description below, okay? All right, everyone. Remember to be ready and to be open for this message to your 3 deep belly breaths. Remember, we're going to breathe in through our nose, and we're going to breathe out through our mouth. Excellent, excellent, excellent. As we are doing our deep breaths, it allows us to be open, it allows us to be aware, and it allows us to be ready for this message. To let you all know that this message is for February 21st. through the 27th, 2022. So this is our 13th weekly oracle series message. This is the 13th. And when I think of 13, I think of the king. You say, girl, why do you think of the king? I think of the king because the highest card in the deck, her cards, is the king, and that's the number 13. But when I think of the number 13, when I think of the king, I think of an individual who is talented, who is skilled, who possesses authoritative traits, but who does that on the behalf of his kingdom. Who does that on the behalf of the people who you nurture, you give love to, you support, you are in relationship with, whatever they may seem like, whatever they may seem. And with the king, he has so much power, but he understands that he is only a force, and there is so much force around. Forces around could be higher spiritual court, could also be the people that we are in unions with. We have to understand our role and our play in our lives, in situations, in relationships. And this is the moment that we are going to be acknowledging and be realizing who we are, how far we've came, and look at all the lessons and how they molded us and shaped us and gave us etiquette and gave us rules and gave us backbone and gave us the skills, the agility, the intuition. Our masculine side needed to understand our feminine side, and we needed to know the inner depths of our soul to understand that we can go through evolution, to understand that we can reach evolution. But once again, everyone's path is individualized, and everyone's path to becoming a king, to reaching 13, to reaching fulfillment of nurturing within self, within spirit, within all parts of self, for the betterment of not just self, but for the world, the community, for whatever you call community. So this ultimately might feel like a lot, like, whoa, hold on, girl, we can get deep like this. But honestly, it's just the path of understanding the rules that we have to go through. You feel me? When you first start a business, you just can't be like, oh, I'm a CEO. No, sweetheart, you have to go to school. You have to understand the backgrounds. You got to understand how to move up. You got to understand the clientele. You got to understand the climate. So there are so many possibilities and so many steps that one has to take, that one has to go through to reach the highest point of self. And that's what this is all about, is reaching the highest point of self. Reaching the highest points of self. So this weekly message that we have so far is the 4 of clubs, the 2 of diamonds, and the ace of clubs. So here we have a little bit of realizing the steps that we have been through. We have a little bit of seeing things that have happened underground and get to see how they have molded us physically, so on this plane, but also in clear sight. But then that's going to lead us to acknowledging the evolution of who we are. The evolution of who we are. The 4 of clubs. Clubs 4 speaks to the understandings of needing for nurturing. What does nurturing look like? How can we think of the memories of nurturing and think of what that was like? How can we be now more progressive to give us what we need to fulfill us in the areas that we need to understand, that we need to move? 4 is a very solid number. So here we need to think of how does nurturing encourage, or how does nurturing stabilize us? Nurturing stabilizes us because we now are stepping into the understandings, 2 of diamonds, the understandings, the evaluations of the group and of self. You've now used the awareness of self and integrated within the others. And now this is a time period to grow and to understand, like, is this still me? How far have I grown? And what can I do with this wisdom? What can I do with this wisdom? 4 and 2, it gives me a reflecting of the solid foundations of in reflecting and thinking, because there is a lot of thinking energy here. How can our foundations be more secure for growing the highest version of self? For initiating the highest version of self. I love this. I really love this message. This is a growing of self, a growing of identity, a growing of solid relationships. There are a lot of 4s here. So here, this is a week of connecting. This is a week of realizing where we are within ourselves, within our community, and within the world. Here, we might be looking at how our previous understandings of authoritative, our previous understandings, and how that has shaped us into who we are today. But here, we need to realize that these were lessons. We need to realize that these situations came because they wanted us to know there is better. They wanted us to know that with hard work, there is better. That with evaluation, we can continue growing, because that's the whole point of growing, evolution, right? Of evolution, right? Four is the builder, the bridger, the connector. Here, when we are reviewing, it's allowing us to start connecting situations, people, relationships, confidence, worthiness, to really who we are, and to pour that into us, to pour that into our own selves. Pour that into our own selves. So this week, as we are journeying to the highest level of self, we need to know that there will be points of evaluation where we stand within ourselves, within our goals, within our own understandings. That's a good thing, because it's reminding you of who you once were and letting you know who you can be. Here we need to be very mindful of what we're moving into. So here, let's really evaluate. Let's use our lessons from last week of evaluation, of youthfulness, of that energy, and still use that this week. Use it this week. The affirmation cards that fell out were: the people in my life are really mirrors of me. This affords me the opportunity to grow and change. Look at this. It's a little boy. Oh, look. And he has all these flowers. And see, these flowers start out small. And look, they keep growing bigger and bigger and bigger. The evolution of life doesn't just transform. It doesn't just happen in humans. But it also in all forms of life. And this is just letting you know that through evolution, you are growing. Your family is growing. Your society is growing. The lineages and the people you come in contact with are growing. This card says, my life is a mirror. The people in our lives are going to be really impacting us this week. And the thing is, we have to be paying attention to it. What is the mirror saying to us? What is the mirror reflecting and showing us? There must be, there's a Libra in our life we need to be paying attention to. I prosper wherever I turn. So here it was a standing still. It's giving me very thinking about self, thinking about who I am, really on the edge of questioning myself. And I see the questioning myself, but understand this is normal, this is natural, because you need to see how far you have came yourself. Let's write this out. 4, 2. Write this out. So when you see, when this evolution comes, and you will see it, when this evolution comes, you will be able to see it. But you still need to write this down to mentally understand that you are going to this. You are going through this for the betterment of self, for the betterment of society, for the evolution of your soul, for the evolution of your consciousness. Clubs, all mental, and hearts. The evolution of your consciousness and of your heart. We're redefining who we are at our inner core. That changes our mind, how we think, the thoughts we think, the books we read, the shows we watch, the things we listen to, the type of people we engage with. Our heart, the type of how we feel about ourselves, what types of people we engage with, the type of things we feel about ourselves, the types of things that we have on our wall, the type of things that we define as nurturing. The types of things that we define as nurturing. The back of the card says, I now see opportunities for abundance everywhere. I am blessed and prospered. See that this is an opportunity to grow who you are at the deepest level. You have this. You have this. Back of the deck, you have this. Trust in yourself. Everything that you're going through, that you're putting in the work, it's going to show physically. Just continue to do it. Just continue to put in the work. We're only at 2, baby. We're only at 2, sweetheart. We're only at 2. This is a lot of understandings of self. This is a lot of working and binding and interweaving of the different versions of self, the more progressive versions of self, the higher versions of self. more mature versions of selves. And sometimes we need to really look at our inner child. Sometimes we really need to look at the inner versions of ourselves, because sometimes they're outdated, and that's okay. Because we're constantly growing, we're constantly moving up. The years are constantly changing. We're constantly getting even more beautiful, even more smarter. Now this card is facing the opposite way, but it's yet again still a stepping stone. So we know that through the people in our life, we're going through an understanding, a re-understanding, a re-progressiveness, a redefining this. And through the seeing the opportunities everywhere in your life, you will be able to then build up on saying yes to life. It says, as I say yes to life, life says yes to me. And look at that. The person doesn't even have to walk out their house, and life is already radiating and sending the blessings that the person needs. But it's up to the person to realize it, to step into it. Nurturing the home. What does home life look like to you? How can you have a more nurturing version to home, a more nurturing self? How can you give yourself that sense of safeness? Life mirrors my every thought. As I keep my thoughts positive, life brings to me only good experiences. Back of the deck, sweetheart. All right, it is reversed, and the card says, I am willing to forgive. Forgiveness of myself and others releases me from the past. Forgiveness is the answer to almost every problem. Forgiveness is a gift to myself. I forgive and I set myself free. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Remember the highest version of yourself. Remember all the steps that you have taken. Remember, you always can remember and reflect on where you are. Remember, you have all these previous videos, the 13 videos, to see how far you have came and how far these lessons have assisted you and allow you to grow. Have a wonderful week, everyone.